In this question, we want to find the inverse function, and the function we're given is f of x equals 3 times cosine of x plus 1. So let's go ahead and rewrite our equation as y equals 3 times cosine of x plus 1. And remember that when you're finding inverse functions, you have the option to interchange your x and y variables either at the beginning or all the way at the end. That choice is up to you. I'm going to go ahead and make my exchange here at the very beginning. So I'm going to swap my x and y values. So here's my interchange of x and y. And my next step is going to be to go ahead and solve this equation for y. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract my 1 from both sides. This will give me x minus 1 equals 3 times cosine of y. And since the 3 and the cosine of y are being multiplied together, I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by 3. So this will give me x minus 1 over 3 equals cosine of y. And keep in mind we're solving this equation for y, so in order to undo the cosine of y, I'm going to have to go ahead and take inverse cosine of both sides. So on this right hand side, these two pieces are going to cancel each other out. The y will fall down, and I'm going to end up with inverse cosine of the quantity x minus 1 as my numerator, and in my denominator I have a 3. And then the very last step is to go ahead and write this equation using your inverse notation. So you have a couple options here. You can go ahead and put a little -1 here on the y. That would be one way you can write it with the inverse notation, or you can go ahead and replace this piece with that f -1 of x, and then just go ahead and copy what you see on that right hand side. So this would be our inverse function. And then the question asks us to go ahead and find the range of our original function f, and then we also need the domain and range of our inverse function. Now we were given some information here with regard to a domain on our original. I took the liberty of going ahead and graphing our function so you can see the graph down below in this lower right hand corner. And let's go ahead and take the range off the graph as we see it. Alright, so this was our original function that is graphed down here. I'm going to go ahead and label it as f of x. And you'll see that our range goes from a y value here of -2 all the way up to a y value of +3. So now if we want to find the domain and range of our inverse function, right, keep in mind the domain for our inverse is the exact same piece as the range of our original. So from -2 to 4. And our range should come from that domain of the original. So we were looking at x values between -pi/2 and pi/2.